Well, I don't know how this is going to turn out. All I know is I'm going to get it up if I can. I don't have much time left. Martin Luther King was shot by a program shooter. Reverend Andrew Young was with him in Memphis. Okay, he partners. I'm talking, well, Andrew Young probably did, but Martin Luther King partnered with John F. Kennedy, who helped kill him, well, try to kill me, kidnap me, and all that. All that. Okay, Kennedy was shot by a program shooter also, and the Warren Commission covered it up because it would lead back to me and what was done to me, my dad, and my children and country. Now then, you might find this babbling, but I don't feel the greatest. I don't get paid for this. I hope to God that it's told, and that's it. And the chips fall where they may, and some justice is here. And I have some civil rights once in my life and my children. And herein, I want to get to this. The claim to fame was Mrs. Coretta Scott King. Scott King. Okay, she's married to Martin Luther King. He partners with John F. Kennedy years ago, obviously before his death, and this mental health issue came up. They're using mental health to sidetrack and put people away. It is hideous if you ever get into it. You can blame MK Ultra, you can blame whoever you want, but these people were party to it. So now then it was used on Martin Luther King. How the irony of it all. If they tore one of his statues down, there would be hell bent to pay. Yet they shot George Wallace, a man who was shot because of his name, probably, but because you couldn't buy his soul. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And I like George Wallace. I met him. You know, growing up, I'm not prejudiced now, but I got thrown out there in the condition I've had to live in. I didn't hurt anybody. I cared deeply for everybody. And I found that black Americans or black South Africans, I hope not. South Africa was part of the British colonies, and that was the reason I was used in all of that, the takedown and the stealing of South Africa. I wanted to care and make things right. And I'm not trying to win an election for anything. I'm just telling you how it is. What's going on now is they're using the race card, and that is Harry and Meghan and illegal Elizabeth. And I'm sad to say that she's my cousin. As far as I know, she's my cousin. They don't have a double, and that's my job, not hers. She was the one, her and her father, that signed the illegal treaties that allowed the Illuminati to go down to South Africa and take it over and pretend to be the good guys. I'm going to try to, if I can. I don't know that I can. I'm going to try to read a few things in a minute. But when I had part of this was Jimmy Carter when he was president. He sent Reverend Andrew Young to the United Nations representative, and he to South Africa. I thought he was. I may be wrong. I thought he was okay. But then you get later what's happening now, and this is what I wanted to say. The UN is meeting, the General Assembly, and they have a statue of Nelson Mandela that's going to be unveiled up there this month. It may have been happening today, I'm not sure. Now then, they're talking about civil rights and how, the new president, I believe he is, excuse me, from South Africa. I had it written down, and here I'm trying to hurry and get this on a tape. He is up there. I believe he's elected, am I right, President of the United Nations. Of course, it's the whole global government. The Illuminati, your mafia, your Freemasons that they tell about in the Bible in end times that helped kidnap me, take down my wonderful, beautiful father, and smear his name in everything. You make the good look bad. You tell me from South Africa, I had nothing against you. You're here promoting Nelson Mandela, Oh boy, I'm going to have people hate me. You can't see between the facade of what's going on. And I have nothing against, I don't even know her, Meghan Markle, but I do know what's going on. They're playing the race card. And you are helping them because I've heard some of your comments. You're going before the United Nations and you're pretending, you're even using global. I meant to tell it, but somebody else, I wrote it down. Mandela was the first president of South Africa in 94. And then you got 77, Jimmy Carter appointed Reverend Andrew Young to serve as United States ambassador to the United Nations. And his background is pastor, diplomat, mayor, civil rights USA representative to Congress. And by the way, in oh gosh, 1982, in the condition I was in, after they'd almost killed me, I went into Reverend Andrew Young's office. He was mayor. He would not see me. They know about mind control. I've put this up before. And he talks about civil rights. I have none. This is one big friggin' joke in taking over. This is your global government that they talk about in the Bible. Okay, let's see. Andrew Young, at the UN, Andrew Young maintained his commitment to universal human rights. They make it sound so nice, and they have maintained United States and African relations or bilateral relations between South Africa and the United States. Take down my father. My father is a good man. This is a lie. So you've replaced my father and me with a global government, and everybody's falling for it. And that chip you, I believe, I've just heard, I know, I don't believe, excuse me. I have problems. I have ear problems here. Anyway, in the people of India, which is very sad, the president or prime minister over there is having every one of them chipped. That's not right. That's what I've been talking about. And they put it in root canals, but now then they're just getting more blatant rather than hiding in the closet, or you go in the dentist, or you go to a doctor like I used to work for, and he puts a chip in a heart bypass, and you don't know you're being programmed, and they can control your decision making, etc. By the way, in the condition I was in, and flip-flops, in the snow and ice, I went to Martin Luther King's headquarters down there, civil rights. I asked to see Coretta Scott King. She was there. They wouldn't bring her out. She was busy. Okay? So finally I wouldn't leave, and I was a little afraid because you can just handcuff me and do anything you want to me. So here, and talk about civil rights at the same time. How dare me say I don't have any? We'll lock you up and show you how many you have. So anyway, she sent her young man out there. He wouldn't even let me sit there. He scooted me out the front door in the cold. And yes, they know who I am. Absolutely. And he said to me, where nobody could hear us, I suppose, that they knew about mind control. They had a person, I can't remember his title. He had a professional something, and a doctor of something, that he had gone to the dentist and come back home and took a flying leap against the wall. And this is what mind control can do. Anything, it's a weapon that's unlimited in what it can do. And how do you trace it back to the one that does it? Well, he slammed into the wall, and the best I could remember, he busted his cheekbone and teeth because it can do that. So they know about it. They always have. They've left me to flounder and to tell all this, and they hate my guts. It's not just whites that were prejudiced. You turn around, and the black people can do the same to you. Been there, felt it, and I'm the one that cared so deeply. I did. I took up I'm not patting myself on the back or anything. That's just the way I am. I thought you love people, you share, you care. That's just the way you should be. I found out, hey, no, that ain't the way it is. It might be the way it's supposed to be, but that ain't the way it is. Okay, so I've said enough. I've said that about Nelson Mandela because, quite simply, there's going to be a statue up there today at the United Nations right in your face, right in my face, what's been done to me and mine in my country. And if one person laid a hand on it, they'd be hell to pay. But you can come up here to Charlottesville, Virginia, and you can tear down Robert E. Lee. You can take down all the history here, and it's fine. People clap. Now then you're telling about rape, all this and hashtag that, which can be a good thing or a bad thing. If you ever hear what was done to me when you people brought me over to this country, and by the way, how would I go home? You've infiltrated Great Britain to where I'm not sure that I wouldn't be considered the bad guy. You get where I'm coming from? Now, it says here that the heads of state are in New York for the annual debate at the United Nations. I hope I get this right, since they don't even give me the right name, Childers. My name's Windsor. Proposed to unveil statue of Mandela at the United Nations, South Africa. Unveils state of I can't read my writing, and I'm sorry. I thought I was going to get it in order here, and obviously I haven't. Okay, Elizabeth is, that's when she came through here. Let's see. I was going to write this. The permanent headquarters of the United Nations in New York City, where everything Rockefeller is, at the start of its regular annual session on the 14th of October, 1952. 1988, in order to hear Yasser Arafat, the General Assembly had its 29th session in the Palace of Nations in Geneva, Switzerland. Look at what's in, it's one of my family in the Netherlands, okay? The War Tribunal. Do you think 1 minute they're going to try anything there? That's Henry Kissinger, the global government. Just who I'm talking about. You got the Jews. Roosevelt was a Jew. So when you start knocking the British or the Germans, turn around and look at what you've done to me and my family, and it's so hideous you won't even tell it. And you talk about civil rights. You shot. Please. I do know one thing, and I'll say it again. And I know they're going to use this against me if they ever even tell about that I exist. I like Governor George Wallace from Alabama. You couldn't buy his soul. Like all of Congress, you think they don't know about me? They've always known. Something would be wrong if they didn't. You want to see me rather than being handshaked or shaking my hand or any recognition or any caring or what's the word I'm groping for? You want to see me carrying my book with a letter from the FBI and a letter from publishers and all this stuff and I took it and carrying it myself. I had no money, and that's after they had killed me, and I almost killed me. I didn't get over it. I mean, that took a long time to put me back together again. All right. So I fall down in Congress trying to carry this stuff, and I had no food, and I was quite frankly told not to go to one. I think the only one that was really the nice person I talked to, he was head of the Space Administration, and I can't remember his name, from Alabama. He was one of the good guys. He had his house bombed. How's that? Google all this. Go back and Google it. Anyway, I fell down, and some poor soul came along and helped me up and took me into the cafeteria and bought me something to eat. My life has been one job of one crime and terrorist act right after the other done to me. You better hope I see it told before the world and the United Nations is shut down. The criminals that they are. I probably won't live after this one, right? How did I live through this if you're calling it living and you talk about civil rights? Oh, please. Now then, I don't know. I thought I was putting it together, and I guess I didn't. You've got the drift, though. I'm sure when I get off of here, there's. Anyway, let me see. Excuse me while I will tell you this though in a minute. In fact, okay, I got that. Whatever. Okay, it's kind of a mess. I'm sorry I started it here. I didn't want to tell you this though. It's what's wrong with this picture. In 1983, just prior, I believe, to being flown out to Flint's, or maybe, I believe, no, right after that, he helped me in the campaign, and he had been shot by a program shooter. So people will tell me that pornography is bad. I don't like pornography either. But you're going to run to the United Nations and buy this garbage where you're going to be free and you just join this global government. That means you have no borders anymore. Canada becomes United States. Mexico's everything's the United States out of New York City, the Rockefellers and all that. So I'm going to quit. I was going to tell about her, though. I'm not going to give her name, but she was speechwriter for Chicago Mayor, and his name slipped my mind. This is in 83, and so she was just prior to then. She was a speechwriter. So she's down there sent to help me in my campaign and write my speech. She never wrote one, and I like the lady. There's a reason for this. Their thing is, what's wrong with this picture here? She stayed downtown in the Hilton, I think it was, and the money paid for her staying there for a week or maybe a little over a week ran up into the $5,000 back then. I was staying in a boarding house, and it had mildew in the showers, and you could see you were afraid somebody was going to come in and rape you, quite frankly. And the name of the lady was Bambi, Rob. So then you get into Forrest Sawyer was the MC that was jerked. And then you get into me coming to Virginia and living in the National Forest. And you've got, I'm going to leave out something that was really important. Oh, Rob was Mary Johnson, the daughter, Linda Bird Johnson. Just before I came here, he was governor of Virginia. So you've got me at Bambi's, you associate with the forest. You've got Rob, I come up here, R-O-B-B, and then he gets embroiled in a sex scandal, and Linda Bird stays with him. Johnson, Rob. I think I'm right there. I should have gone back. I know I'm right about that. I think it's Rob. Last name is Rob. And anyway, I'm going to quit. I wasn't that organized. Sorry about that. But anyway, she didn't do my speeches, but I liked her. She went with me to some of the campaigns, and I liked her very much. She did help in other ways, by the way, but not in my speech writing. Is okay. There was something else I was going to tell, but and Chuck Levy. I don't know. Okay, he's a good guy. He knew Marilyn, and that was her name, her first name. Katz. I don't hope she doesn't mind me using it. Now I'm going to give you another scenario and leave, because I laughed to get me through the hell. I had a car furnished to me by Larry Flint Hustler magazine after the campaign. I never saw them again. I had the campaign for a year. I